In this video, I want to be talking about Nioh 2, or more specifically, the PC version of the game, my impressions of it so far. We've been playing it on and off for the last couple weeks. You've probably seen us on Twitch. We also put up some gameplay earlier last week. So if you want to know what my thoughts are on Nioh 2 PC, watch on to find out. I think the first thing to talk about, obviously, is the performance of the game. You are now able to get up to 120 frames per second. The game is locked at 120 is the max for that. So you can either choose between 30 FPS, 60 FPS, or 120 FPS. Those are your three options. There are no other options on PC. So if you have a monitor somewhere, like 144, you're not going to be able to get quite that, but you'll be able to get at least 120 if you can manage it. Obviously, the game looks and plays a lot more smoothly at the higher frame rates. I think one of the things besides, the smoother frame rates is just that the game looks so much better. The textures are better. The lighting is better. Everything feels a little bit more alive. The game environments themselves are very, fantastical. They don't look realistic. The game isn't meant to look realistic, so it doesn't look real or anything like that, but it certainly looks a lot better, particularly to me when it comes to the textures and the lighting. I played the PC version at 1440p, so I wasn't playing quite at 4K, and I was able to maintain somewhere between 90 and 120 FPS. I had it set to 120 on my monitor, and I was able to, it varied a little bit between there. Sometimes it would dip down for a second, maybe to like 60 or something like that. But I'm running a 2080 Ti graphics card on my Corsair One Pro. That's a pretty beefy graphics card. It's not obviously one of the new 3000 series, so it's not top of the line anymore, but it's still pretty strong. And I was only able to get somewhere between about 90 and 120 at 1440p. So I'm not thinking it's going to be very easy for many people to get max 120 FPS at 4K resolutions. I do think, though, that you should be able to hit 60 FPS in 4K with a good gaming system. I don't know exactly, what the threshold is there for that, but you probably won't need more than 60 FPS anyway. This isn't a shooter game. 60 FPS should run really, really nice for you. And in fact, that's what I was streaming at. When I was streaming, I just locked it at 60 FPS because I stream and play on my same computer, and that way my stream wasn't laggy at all, and it still played really, really smoothly. Someone asked me about load times earlier. The load times of the game are really, really fast. They're about what you see if you're playing Nioh 2 on PS5 right now. If you're playing the PS4 version on PS5, the load times are wicked fast. So it's very, very similar to that. So you're going to have very, very fast load times. That was never a problem in Nioh anyway, but the load times are very good. Now, when it comes to connectivity and multiplayer, this one is very hard for me to, say a whole lot about because playing so early, there really weren't a whole lot of people that were online that had an early build of the PC version of the game. So I don't know how the connectivity is going to be. It's not a problem on PlayStation right now, so I'm not expecting it to be a problem on PC either. I think the player base is going to be popping at launch. So if you're playing on PC, I don't think this is going to be an issue for you. Some people have been asking me also, are there differences between the PC version of the game and the PlayStation 5 version or the PS4 version, etc., in terms of content? And as far as I know, there's maybe like a pre-order bonus for the PC version of the game, but I don't think there are any other content differences. I think, the reason to play on PC is either you don't own a console, so you're playing on PC, or maybe you want to play with a revitalized community. Maybe you never really got into Nioh 2 or Nioh 1, and you want to give it a try where the community's at its peak. Obviously, that's going to happen right at launch for PC, at the PC version. Those are really the only reasons I can think of. If you already own the PS4 version or PS5 version, etc., I don't think there's a reason for you to switch to PC. I mean, obviously, you probably get slightly better performance, but I don't think it's going to be so drastic that there's a reason to convert over. All in all, I think it's a pretty good PC port. The performance is not perfect. You're getting 4K, 60 FPS, you're going to have a pretty good gaming PC, I think. Which means the game isn't perfectly optimized, in my opinion, but it's fairly well done. It doesn't feel like a bad PC port or anything like that. It just feels like, it feels a bit about like what you were playing Monster Hunter World when it came to PC. It feels good. You don't really feel like it's a port. You're playing, you don't really notice that you're playing on PC, you're using a controller or whatever, which is what I played on. And it just feels like you're playing on a console other than, it looks nicer. It feels very, very similar to that. So I think people are going to be happy with the PC version of the game. The PC version of the game comes out on the 5th, which is just a couple days away now. So if you're going to pick that up, it's going to be able to play here in a couple days. I'm not sure if we're going to be streaming it anymore at launch or not. My main character is on PlayStation. I am looking forward to the patch on PlayStation 5. I don't have any information on this. They've been hush-hush, so I'm going to be checking that out probably when it launches on the 5th, because I'm like on the last difficulty of the game. I just didn't feel like starting and going all the way through all the difficulties again on PC, but we'll check that out on PS5 and see how that plays.